G'day guys, welcome to today's non-spoiler review of Unsolved, the murders of Tupac and Notorious B.I.G. I've always been a fan of early 90s and noughties hip-hop and gangster rap, and like a lot of people, particularly Tupac. Especially that he and I are the same age, and that a star at the top of his game at only 25 years of age could be murdered on the Las Vegas Strip after a Mike Tyson fight, and the crime subsequently go unsolved. The media had already whipped up the whole East Coast versus West Coast rap wars, so when Notorious B.I.G. was murdered in LA after the Soul Train Awards a few months later, which also went unsolved, it justifies the ongoing interest in the artists and the crimes to this day. Even though we've gotten some really great hip-hop related movies over the years, we're still yet to see a definitive movie on the King, Tupac Shakur. There have been some pretty poor attempts, but we've never seen a good dramatisation of his life and career, let alone the events leading to his mysterious murder. So to my surprise, I'm sitting there flicking through Netflix, as you do, when I suddenly came across this gem, Unsolved, the murder of Tupac and Notorious B.I.G. Now, I've seen just about every documentary that's ever been made about the Biggie and Tupac cases, and I've read the books Labyrinth by Detective Russell Poole, the detective from the LAPD originally assigned to the Biggie murder in 1996, and Murder Rap by Detective Greg Kading, the LAPD detective who led a federal task force in 2006 into the cold cases. So I thought this must be a doco I haven't seen yet. I watched the trailer and realised it's a 10-part, 1 hour per episode dramatisation of the entire case and history. It stars Josh Duhamel, you know, from Transformers, and Mr. X Fergie as Detective Greg Kading. Bokeem Woodbine is his partner, Officer Darren Dupree, you know, Shocker from Spider-Man Homecoming, or from one of my other favourite movies, John Woo's The Big Hit. Actually, interesting bit of trivia, Bokeem Woodbine also starred in Tupac's music video for his single I Ain't Mad At Ya in '96, and he was also in the movie Gridlocked with Tupac too. And then there's Jimmy Simpson as Detective Russell Poole. You might recognise him from Westworld or one of the best episodes of Black Mirror. Then I see the guy playing Tupac is Mark Rose. He played Tupac in a brief scene in Straight Outta Compton, and he was going to be in a Tupac movie that never happened, but anyway, that's another story. But he is almost the spitting image of Tupac at the same age. Wavy Jones plays Biggie and looks and acts enough like him that my memory of the great performance by Jamal Woolard as Biggie in Notorious washed away. I couldn't believe that this came out in 2018, but I'd never heard of it before. I decided I'd just watch the first episode and see what it was like, but 5 episodes later and I was hooked. The structure of the narrative is similar to the also great True Detective Series 1, where there are multiple time frames playing out in each episode. We followed Detective Russell Poole back in 1996 when the murder of Biggie first occurred on the streets of LA, and he's assigned the case. He's not a great communicator with people, but after meeting Biggie's mum, Valletta Wallace, played by Aisha Hines, and promising he will solve the case, you can see the manic determination and obsession of Poole in Jimmy Simpson's performance. The attitude of the LAPD at the time is that they basically wish it would all go away, and as far as they're concerned, they're all just gangsters with microphones. Poole finds the obvious connection between Biggie's and Tupac's murders, but's convinced that the LAPD are corrupt and trying to cover up the murder. Playing out at the same time, LAPD Detective Greg Kading, Josh Duhamel, is recruited in 2006 to reinvestigate the Biggie murder, as Valletta Wallace has brought a $60 million wrongful death lawsuit against the city of Los Angeles, as her son, Christopher Wallace's murder, still remains unsolved after 10 years. Kading realises he needs to set up a federal task force, as one of the main issues in 1996 was jurisdictional. Tupac was from LA but was murdered in Las Vegas. Biggie was from New York but was murdered in Los Angeles. He recruits a team and they start painfully combing through 10 years of evidence. A lot of the players involved in 96 have come to their own demise in the past 10 years, but there is enough of them still circulating that they try to stitch someone up on a conviction to bargain with them for info on what really happened with Biggie and Tupac. Kading is more reserved and methodical than Poole. He also understands that in court, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. He soon comes to realise, though, that he's not actually there to solve the murders. His primary objective is to prove LAPD are not culpable and thus avoid a giant lawsuit for the city. Also playing out concurrently throughout the series is the stories of the lives and careers of both Christopher Wallace, the Notorious B.I.G., and Tupac Shakur. All the major public moments are recreated for both of their lives, and they're all played so well, and Mark Rose looks so much like Tupac in certain moments that you'd almost swear it's documentary footage. The writers, directors and showrunner also treat all the characters with respect and not stereotype cardboard cutouts of thugs or gangsters, but everyone is a real person with motivations, fears and consequences to their actions. You don't have to be a hip-hop or gangster rap fan to enjoy this show. If you're a fan of or were around at the time in 96, you'll certainly enjoy all the performances, cameos, music, fashion and name drops. But if you know nothing about rap or the East Coast West Coast War of the mid-90s, you'll still enjoy this as a police procedural drama with a super cool setting. The police are also respected and treated like genuine people and are played flat and methodically but understanding as real police have to be to do the job and inhabit the world that they do. It's interesting to see how the police try to build a case and how difficult and frustrating it must be when you know who did what but don't have the appropriate evidence or witnesses to proceed with the charge. This really was a great show and certainly makes up for some of the false starts and duds that we've had prior to this. It looks cinematic, and as a Tupac fan, I was really happy with the way his character and events in his life were treated and portrayed. Oh, by the way, and as an aside, once I'd finished watching the series and finished dancing around my house listening to California Love, I discovered another YouTuber called DJ VLAD, who over the past several years has been interviewing people in the rap, hip-hop, gangster world. Just about all the surviving real people featured in Unsolved have been interviewed by VLAD TV and are up on YouTube for your viewing pleasure. I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to check them out. I highly recommend the interview with Greg Kading, as it confirms not only a lot of the facts portrayed in Unsolved, but also the manner and attitude of career police detectives. Thanks a lot for watching today's video. If you enjoyed the content, please like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. Have a great day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take it easy.